The Public Works facility was originally constructed in 1959, so it had become very dated and needed a lot of improvements to better facilitate the equipment storage and the employee working conditions. So the city started the project in August of 2010, and we were finished in October of 2011. Basically, a lot of the buildings were reused and renovated, and we also added a building in between to enhance the administrative space.
I love the new Public Works facility. First, I like the fact that our Public Works employees who worked in the least desirable facilities for decades finally have a really nice place to work out of.
The building behind me is the administrative office, and some of the features from the renovation include much more use of daylight and natural lighting in the building, the use of environmentally sensitive finishes. So we've used sealed concrete floors in the hallways to make them very durable and low maintenance. Also, we've used bamboo flooring in the offices. We have a rubber cork tile floor in the employee lounge. And we also have a very nice vinyl tile in our conference room. Again, the finishes were chosen because they are low maintenance. They don't require stripping and waxing on a regular basis. They can just be dusted or vacuumed and mopped when needed. And they hold up well to the kind of heavy use that we have here in the building of work boots and dirt. So it's a way to make it environmentally sensitive and as well make it long lasting and to look good for a long period of time. Also, all the paints that were chosen in the buildings were the low volatile organic chemical paints, so they wouldn't have the issue with creating indoor air pollution from off-gassing of the products. And that was for both the glues and adhesives as well as the painting itself. We have bamboo wall coverings along the hallway walls. That's a part of the building that can also easily get banged up from moving equipment around or moving people around. So it's a way to protect the walls, to keep them looking well, and use a sustainable product to do that holds up and is attractive for a long period of time. There's also solar panels on the roof that help to generate the electricity. We're hoping about 20% of the power for this building is provided through our solar panels. We also have a geothermal heat system within this building and others. There's a series of 12 wells that are in the ground that provide the water for the heating and cooling equipment. It's a very efficient way to heat and cool a building because the water temperature coming out of the ground remains constant year-round. And whether you have to heat it up or cool it or use it to cool, it's just a more efficient way of generating the starting temperature for those heating and cooling systems. We also have a heat exchanger on the roof, so all the exhaust air, whether it's heated or cooled, is used to pre-warm or pre-cool the incoming fresh air. So it's a way to use the energy that was already put into conditioning the air before it's released outside.
The thing that I'm proudest of is that this is the first facility that is a permitted gray water facility in the WSSC service area. It means that the water that we collect in the big tank and also that used in the showers and the sinks gets recycled through to be used in the toilets. Takoma Park always likes to know that we're not always behind the curve on things, but we're out there leading, and that's one area that we're leading.
We moved here 30 years ago, and this place was old pretty much at that point. It was 30 years old at that point. So this is an amazing, I mean, it's not bigger, but it's an amazing transformation. It's a little bit bigger, but it just functions really well, and it has all the state-of-the-art recycling and stormwater technologies, and the gray water system, which is the first in the WSSC territory actually functioning here. So this is a real breakthrough. It brings Takoma Park back to the top of the curve.
It's a beautiful new building. There's solar panels on the roof. They use geothermal, which I don't know how much that saves, but it looks great. The stormwater, I'm really glad that they have put in the stormwater system to grab the stormwater and also filter it out. So that keeps the toxic runoff from the lot from going into the creek. They have a beautiful new shop for the gardener, great offices. What can I say? Great bay for the trucks. It's great.
I think this is money well spent on the new public works. I especially am impressed with the fact that they've taken a good approach to stormwater management, to gray water, even have solar panels and the geothermal. So it's to me, I'm quite impressed. I think it's a great step for Takoma Park.
One of the special enhancements was a rebuilding of our sanitation facility. The previous storage garage didn't have doors. It wasn't large enough to store the equipment. The trash trucks actually stuck out in the front. So we had an entirely new building built for the sanitation trucks as well as other large equipment that we have. And that building features skylights in the roof, again, to enhance daylight, reduce the amount of energy needed to light the building. It's got a concrete floor with floor drains, so vehicle washing can take place and all that water can go to the sanitary sewer to be cleaned. It also provides a large enough space for all the equipment. Another aspect of the renovation was to improve our vehicle maintenance facility. We have two large bays that are used to repair the city's vehicles. The city has a fleet of about 75 vehicles and trucks that we maintain here at the Public Works. All the police vehicles, all the equipment that the Public Works Department uses, the large dump trucks, the trash trucks, the recycling trucks, also the sedans and the pickup trucks that are used by employees to do their daily work. It's all maintained by the Equipment Maintenance Division, which is housed here at the Public Works facility. The city has a fueling station here at Public Works for city vehicles, and particularly police cars. We have a 5,000-gallon diesel tank and a 12,000-gallon gasoline tank in the ground and the fuel pumps that dispense those fuels. We have all the upgraded technology required for spill maintenance and leak detection. We keep regular maintenance of that equipment to make sure it's operating without potentially polluting the environment through any kind of leaks or discharge. We have yet to replace our fuel tanks. That'll be a project coming up the next couple of years that will be quite costly, but of course you want to make sure your tanks are well maintained so that they don't run the risk of splitting or leaking. For our diesel system, the city uses a biodiesel mix that's used in all our diesel equipment, so it's a way to reduce the amount of diesel fuel used and drop a little bit of the emissions pollution from when that fuel is burned. In addition to the work on the buildings, we also did some work to the driveway. Previously, our trucks used the Oswego Avenue side as their main entrance or exit out of the facility, and that's close to a residential neighborhood. So the neighbors in the area asked that in the renovation we improve our back driveway to make it the main source of trucks and cars going in and out to avoid driving on the residential roads. So we enhanced that driveway. One of the issues, the problems prior, was it was very steep, and our trucks, particularly the heavy trash trucks, would bottom out as they were exiting or entering the facility. So we had the driveway regraded in order to enable those trucks to go in and out easily, and that's now improved our access into the building and keeps our trucks and cars off of the residential streets around us and more directly into our facility. This facility is considered potentially a hot spot for pollution because of the kind of equipment and materials we store here. I mean, we've got salt for the roads, we've got gas tanks and diesel tanks. We've also got equipment that can leak oil and hydraulic fluid onto the pavement. So a critical piece of the renovation was to improve the water quality of the stormwater from our facility. So we've added two special stormwater filtration systems, one for each part of the yard. The first one uses a smart sponge technology. The sponges themselves, they absorb the chemicals like gasoline and oil and other pollutants. And the inlet is a very deep inlet, so all the sediment and leaves and debris can drop out to the bottom and not get caught into the stormwater flow. All the water from our facility goes through the inlets and into pipes and then out into a tributary to Sligo Creek. So the second stormwater filtration system uses more of a basket technology, which captures the debris and sediment and then filters the water before it enters that system. The Public Works Department is composed of several divisions. We have the administrative division that includes the director as well as the receptionist staff. We have a building maintenance division that takes care of all facility maintenance of city-owned buildings as well as the custodial staff. We have an equipment maintenance division that handles all the vehicle repairs. We have a right-of-way division. Those are the folks that do the park maintenance, the playground maintenance, the street repairs. We have a sanitation division that takes care of the city's collection of trash and recycling and yard waste. And then we have a city engineering division and a stormwater management division. The city engineer is split between both of those divisions. He oversees street restoration, any kind of civil engineering projects, as well as stormwater management projects. And we have a gardens division that manages all the gardens and landscaped areas around the city. And lastly, we have an arborist, an urban forest division with an arborist who oversees management of the city's trees on the public property, as well as oversees the city tree ordinance, which restricts cutting of trees, and he follows through on the permitting process that's required with that legislation.